Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday afternoon, March the 7th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible. I'd like to welcome everyone to the show today. This will be my weekly update that will go on YouTube and also on my BitChute account. If I can get it uploaded over there, sometimes I have trouble with it processing. And also I have a Rumble account. It'll be over there as well. So we're tracking the methane on NOAA and CAMS. Now I wanted to start off though with this article. This is just quick. This is an article about this new paper that just came out this week. Now this article is from phys.org. And this was March the 2nd. And the title says, Testing Waters of East Siberian Arctic Ocean Suggests Origin of Elevated Methane is Reservoir Located in Laptev Sea. Now we've known this, but this is more research that it was done in 2014, but it's just now been analyzed and it's being published in proceedings in the National Academy of Sciences. So it takes them a while to get everything analyzed. And so the bottom line is, and so here's the article. I'll leave a link below, and if you want to read the actual paper, you can go right here. There's the link. Here's the paper, and it was received for review on September 19th of 2020. It was approved on January 19th, 2021. And it's set for publication March 2021, March 8th or 9th or something like that. So anyway, it's March 9th, 2021. And so it's already online here. So here's the article, and here's the figures and info and metrics. You can download the PDF file, and there was one figure that was quite interesting. All these dots are the research areas where they tested methane. They took methane samples in the water, and the area is here's the Arctic, and this is Greenland, Canada. Here's Russia over here. This is the New Siberian Islands. This is the Laptev Sea. So it's primarily just in this portion of the Laptev Sea that they tested. I think there were 23 stations where they tested, and this is the main picture. So I just thought I'd share that. So where they tested is in this area where we're seeing this yellow and yellowish green plume coming up. So that's a reservoir, and if there was a reservoir in 2014, then you know that it's going to be releasing by now. That was it's 6-7 years later. So and I don't know if anybody's going to be testing this area by Comps. There's no word of it yet, and this is disturbing me more than anything. And this has been billowing up since January of last year, non-stop, and I believe it's part of Russia top secret territory. So probably nobody can go in and test it. I don't know. But that's concerning me more than what's over here. So if what they found was high over here in the Laptev Sea, they would probably be having a heart attack if they tested this over here by CAMS. So there you go. So we're going to start out with the NOAA methane data. I'm tracking this on the 477/469 millibar reading. This is the METOP-1 satellite in the morning for March the 6th. The mean or average was 1,899 parts per billion. The high reading was 2427. Now we're seeing pinks down further south in the picture, and even a little hint of pink down here over the Antarctic. In the afternoon, the mean was 1901. The high reading was 2389. On the METOP-2 satellite in the morning, the mean was 1878. The high reading was 2371. And in the afternoon, the mean was 1881. The high reading was 2339. So here's the data for the 6th, and it averages out to 1,889.75 parts per billion, and so that gives us an increase this week of 4.5 parts per billion. So here we are on our chart where it's going up. So it's just shy of 1890 by 0.25 parts per billion, and it's been going up for the last 3 weeks, and we can see that we're really in no man's land. Now this time last year we were 6.75 parts per billion lower, but also what we're seeing is, see, last year it shot up in February, and then it started going down a little bit in March, and then it went back up, and then in April it started going back down until about July, and then it started on its trek back up during the normal warming season for methane in the summertime in the northern hemisphere. And the last time, now where we are right now is about the same as the end of July last year on the rise. So we're already at that level, starting out on the increase, and we hit the low on January the 12th of this year of 1873.5 right here, and so we're at 1889.75. So last year where it was going up, here we are. July the 25th, it was 1887.75, and August the 1st was 1891.75. So around the end of July is where we are right now from last year. And since March the 1st of 2019, we've had an increase of 32.5 parts per billion total. So in 2 years it's gone up that much. Now here's what it's done this week. Now here's where we were last week on my report. We were at 1885.25, and we've gone up 4 parts per billion last week. and then on the 28th it went up. It went down 1.75. That's the only day it went down in this report period. Then it's gone up since then. Then the next day it went up 0.5, and then on the 2nd it went up 1.75. On the 3rd it went up 1.25. On the 4th it went up 1.5. On the 5th it went up 0.5. And then on the 6th it went up 0.75, giving us overall an increase of 4.5. And I started tracking this on a daily basis last year in February, so I have the numbers from March the 6th of last year, and we are 6.75 higher than a year ago today. We can look back, just scroll back up. Here we are on March the 6th, it was 1883. And it went up 3 parts per billion in one day there. So that's a pretty sharp increase. And then it went back down a couple of days. So that's where we're at. So we're really in no man's land with all this methane, and it's not improving, it's getting worse. Now we'll look at the methane data from CAMS. This is the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service website. This is out of the EU. We have Saturday the 6th pulled up, Arctic view, and surface level ready. There's our color ledger. And just to remind everyone now, if you change levels, like if you change from surface level, like if you were looking at surface level and then you change to total column, when it loads up the page it defaults to the old color ledger. So this old color ledger will show up on total column when you first see it, and so you have to refresh the page to get the correct color ledger. As far as I know, they haven't changed the color ledger since December of 2018. But anyone can open a support ticket on CAMS, and they're very nice to answer questions. They'll get right back to you. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. And this area, it just keeps streaming up around CAMS. And so we've got high reading here on the Alaska coastline. We've got mainly greens, with just a little bit of blue here and there, but mainly greens across the page, which is a higher reading of methane as well. Oh, and I didn't talk about that. I was just hypnotized with all this CAMS. But we've been seeing for the last week yellow waves of methane coming up out of the Kermadec Sea here in that testing area, and also over this East Siberian Arctic shelf in the East Siberia Sea. We've been seeing some yellow clouds come up over there too. And it did briefly go into the reddish orange range, but it dissipated quite quickly. Not anything like what we're seeing at CAMS NOAA. Now here's the North Pole view. We can see the whole northern hemisphere here. And I do daily updates for my members on my Subscribe page. And so if you're interested in seeing this on a daily basis, I recommend you check out my Subscribe page. The link is in the description box below. And it's only $5 a month. It mainly pays for the platform. And then my members get the daily updates first, and after something's been up a week for them, then I put it archive it on my website. And so it's everybody can see it. So I'm using it as I'm documenting what I see as we're going through these end times and endings best I can. So we're seeing a shift in where the methane is coming up, and the plumes and things. Like down here in this Bengal Bay by India, this had been pluming up for a few months now, this dark reddish brown color. But now that's shifted and it's going from green to blue, so I don't know why that is. See, there's green there at the beginning of this period, and then it goes into blue. We're also seeing very high readings in the UK and Ireland and all across Europe. Here's the Persian Gulf. And then high readings from Texas over in the US. You can see the green waves. I apologize for my voice, it can't be helped. Here's the global view. And we're seeing more of this dark blue show up. That's a higher reading. It's coming in the southern hemisphere now. The purplish color is 1780 parts per billion, and the dark blue is 1800. This light blue is 1820. So we'll see these higher readings just creep in down here over the southern hemisphere as things start going back up now. We're still seeing this white spot here in China near Beijing, where it's white. That's higher than the 10,000 parts per billion. that's measured on this chart. That's the most polluted city on the planet. Now here's 500 HPA. Now I'll just show you. See, the first image that comes up, it defaults to this color ledger. This was the one that's associated with surface level. So you have to do a refresh in order to get the correct color ledger. And this is true not only with methane, but all your other choices. These are all greenhouse gases here that I've gotten. Like anything that you're tracking, if you go from one level to the next, you have to refresh for the correct color ledger. They still haven't fixed this. They've got these numbers overlapping. So this high end is, I think I figured it out, from 1950 to 2360 parts per billion in this high range on this is 500 HPA. That's about halfway up in the atmosphere. It's about equivalent to the level that I'm tracking on the NOAA data. Now one thing we're seeing, greens are starting to come in over the Antarctic, especially here. This is the north part. They're in, when we look at Climate Reanalyzer, there's a big red area over this part that's warmer than normal. And also we're seeing much higher readings out of South America these days, and the highest is down here in southern China, and we've got some high readings coming across up here. This is next to Kamchatka, Russia, and then we've got reds just all the way across the Arctic area and across the northern hemisphere. Now here's total column. Now I'll show you the chart. See, I have not refreshed. Here's the color ledger that we ended up with on 500 HPA. So if we refresh, we get a new color ledger. There it is. And so this reading is between 1920 to 2320 parts per billion is in that dark area in total column. And we see that over here in China. And see, we've got reds showing up and oranges showing up all the way across South America now. And this is kind of new. It hasn't been this high on total column since I can remember. I mean, last week it was high, and then it's kind of stayed in this red zone. So I don't know if it's from new fires or, deforestation of the Amazon. I don't know. I seriously don't know what this is from. I've got couple more pictures to show. This is from CAMS this morning. This is sulfur dioxide today around the globe. We see this high reading here off the coast of Ecuador. We've got a high reading here. I think this is new, and it's off the coast of California. And I think this is showing plate movement, and a lot of this is from plate movement. And then over here we've got a high reading in where is this? It's spread out from Iraq and Iran up, but I think this is spread out from Mount Etna going off, and we've got, see these reds, that's left over I think from Mount Etna. I'm not for sure, it's hard to know, but the highest readings we're seeing here near Ecuador and up all the way up to Panama, South America, and here in the Pacific just west of California, and then up here in the North Pacific. So I think this is from plate movement from the earthquakes that we've had this week, and that will definitely cause plates to move, and there's pockets of sulfur dioxide that are released when the plates move. Now, okay, let's go on and look at sea ice now. Now, these are pictures that I saved from Climate Reanalyzer this week. Here we are for today for sea ice and snow cover, and we can see it's about the same. It's hard to tell whether it's grown a little or gone away a little on the extent. It's mainly thickened up, so it's kind of hard to tell in the winter time here, but we can go back and see what's happened this week. This is from last Sunday when we did the show on the 28th. Here's what it looked like. Here's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and here's today, the 7th. So not much change really in the extent, like I said. This is from the U.S. Navy website. This is sea ice thickness in the Arctic today. And if we zoom in, the thinner ice is the purple, and lavender, just a little fringe is the lavender. And then it goes into blue, and then like the bright aqua is about 2 meters thick. The green is about 3 meters thick. So it's trying to thicken up, but I don't really see that much change this week. So here's the 30-day animation. The data goes back for 3 weeks, and then it forecasts out actually to the 13th. So they're a day behind on this model. So here it is at the end of the forecast period, the 13th, and a little bit of extent coming back here in the Barents Sea and thickening up here by Greenland, and thickening up still here, looks like in the Baffin Bay, which is good. You know, we need all the ice that we can get. And still is moving more into aqua from this Beaufort Sea all the way across into quadrant 1 there. Here's the Beaufort Sea ice thickness. Now this is what's left of the thickest sea ice, and we've been following this since last summer, and it's been sliding down, and now it's mainly compressing here in the Beaufort Sea, but it pulled away. There was a big movement on the ice drift, and it pulled away this week from the coastline of Canada and also along the Alaska coastline. So this is definitely in motion. You see it jump right there towards the end. See that? You can watch it here. See it open, it's up there. Okay, here's at the end of the forecast period on the 14th. So let's click back through. Now here we are today, but it's already started pulling away. See, it's got a little white around the coastline of Canada there. So we can look back. So here's, you can see more aqua around the coastlines and see the dark red. This goes up to 5 meters thick where it's the dark red. It's not much. It's 5 meters thick. It's just very, very tiny bit. So here we were on the 3rd. And so if I just click through, we can see the movement. Here's the 4th. Here's the 5th. Now it started pulling away here on Alaska here on the 5th. Now watch this. See that was a big jump on the 6th. See the pull away here. It's the whole piece moved out. And here it is today. There was a lot of movement today as well. And then tomorrow it's still moving. And then the 9th is still moving. You can see all the white. That's where it's pulled completely away from the coastline and there's no ice where there's white. Let's see. Here's the 10th. Here's the 11th. And now it's starting to settle back down. It's starting to move back across this Beaufort Sea. Here's the 12th, 13th, and 14th. And that's the last day that we have here. So that's what we've got on that. Now this is the lead area opening rate. This is another model on the Navy website. And the leads are the long cracks between the frozen areas. And these open up first. And where you see the blues, that's how fast they open up. It's percent per day. And like this dark reddish black is 15%. And the aqua is about, this is probably around 7%, and then 7 to 8% up in the green. So we can see today we've got opening of the leads today. That's where the sea ice is pulling apart. So they're opening up. And here's the 30-day animation on this. I just find this fascinating. I just started looking at this recently. And then when we look at NASA Worldview, we'll be able to see these leads where they are. Okay, here's the 14th. It's all quiet on the 14th. Now we'll just click back through. So see, we got a lot of movement coming up this week. There's today. And see this movement on the 6th, that was the day it pulled away. See, it's so fast. It's up into the black area up here along this Canada and Alaska coastline. So that was yesterday. It was moving pretty good on the 5th too. So pretty quiet here on the 4th. Here's a lead opening up by Alaska on the 4th. So let's start clicking through. So here's our movement on the 5th. Here's the 6th. Here's today, the 7th. Lot of openings here. That's the cracks that we see in the ice. Here's tomorrow. A lot of movement there, especially along these coastlines. See, so pulling out, opening up there. There's the night. Look at all of this. This looks like some kind of weird abstract art. Here's the 10th. A lot of movement there. 11th is slowing down. 12th is slowing down. 13th, and then it's calm on the 14th. Then this is the Antarctic. This is sea ice thickness. We're starting to see a refreeze already, and when we look at National Snow and Ice Data Center, you'll see that the refreeze is happening sooner this year than what they normally have. We can see this light purple. This is just a very thin skim of ice, but it is a refreeze here by the Ross Sea and on around on this west side and on the south side, and it's refreezing here in this Weddell Sea and around. You'll see when we look at NASA World View, you'll be able to see the little swirling ice coming back. Here's the 30-day animation, and you'll be able to see where it was thinnest, and then it starts on the refreeze. See? Isn't that interesting? And the sun is going down there. It's still up, but it's getting lower on the horizon as it's rising at the North Pole as the Earth is tilting. That's all of those. Now let's move on to let's do Climate Reanalyzer. Well, let's do sea ice. This is the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This is Sea Ice Index. Now last week they were having problems with the data. It looks like they've got it here. This is the Arctic view. I've got blue marble view turned on daily, and concentration. If you just want to see extent, you click on that one, and this gold or brown colored line is the mean, the median for ice edge between 1981 to 2010, and so we're inside that. We're less than that. Here's the concentration, and the more blue it is, the less concentrated it is, meaning it's not very well formed or not packed together as well, or thin, and not as frozen in between the different pieces. Now here's the graph. Now here we are today. Now this dotted line is 2012, and it looks like they did change the baseline, but we were right along with 2012 from about January up into February, and then it looks like it took a nosedive, and I don't know if that's when the days that they didn't have any data, but it is heading back up, but it's still much lower than 2012, and that was our lowest year on record for the extent. So we're still below 2012, quite a bit below, it looks like. Now here's the Antarctic, and the same thing, sea ice concentration, and see the blues, this is where the refreeze is coming in. And here's the chart, and Antarctic sea ice extent, and the blue line is this year, and this kind of greenish gray line is last year. I think it's last year, yeah. Let's go view image. We can go in closer now. So I don't know if this is current. It says as of March 6th, but this line looks maybe this is where March started. This line started, and then here's where April starts. So that's going up. So this is the refreeze, and it looks like it's going up faster than last year, and then the median, we're above the median. So there's that. Now let's take a peek at Climate Reanalyzer. Here's our maximum temperatures today. Now we can see cold air has come back across the Arctic, but here's our 2-meter temperature anomaly. We've got a little bit of brown on this left side or west side. We've got blues and purples across from Russia over. We can see this from about the middle part of Greenland south. It's in browns and reds, meaning warmer than normal. And it's up, up to 18°C higher than normal there. And then in northern Canada, we've got Canada all the way down into the US. It's browns and reds. And we've got this pinky color coming in. It's up to about 24°C higher than normal here in Canada. Now they consider the Arctic further up than what we see all those reds. So the Arctic is at -2°C. It's lower than normal by -2°C. Now the northern hemisphere is up 0.8°C higher than normal, and the Antarctic is up 1.5°C higher than normal. See all the reds down here? That's over the land. So we can click through if you want to just see the Antarctic view. Here it is. So it's flipped. North is up here. So it's this north, kind of northwest quadrant, and the northeast part is in the brown. So about half of Antarctica is much warmer than normal. See, it's up into the reds, about 18°C higher than normal. And this is where we saw the green of the methane, the higher reading of the methane too. And we'll look at precipitation and clouds. Now we've got some rain coming up to Greenland, and then here's snow. And here's Iceland. They've had a lot of earthquakes this week. And it's raining over here on the northern end of the UK. Then we've got snow up here in the Barents Sea. And see how far south this rain is coming. It was raining here by the western peninsula of the Antarctic yesterday. See, we got rain even down here by the ice in the north part. Rain over here. Here's what's people call the jet stream, but there's nothing streaming about it. It's pretty broken up. And it's not holding the cold air in. It's the cold air is still escaping. And unfortunately, I think this is what we're going to see from and worse as things progress, start playing out. This is totally not normal. See the breaks and just the wavy and the loops. And look at this looping down here in this Antarctic area. We saw sea ice and snow cover. Now here's sea surface temperature anomaly. It's updated to Friday the 5th. We still got browns here in the Barents Sea. So the brown is about 2 to 3 C higher than normal. Here all the way down around Greenland. Now we've got a little patch here in this off the coast of Canada here that's colder than normal. It's into this light purple lavender up into the whitish areas, so that's like 6C lower than normal. Just a little patch here, and then we've got this higher than normal right next to it. Now they're saying that as the this Greenland ice sheet melts, it cools off the water in the ocean and will slow down the AMOC, maybe stop it even. And also same thing down here in the Antarctic as these glaciers and ice sheets melt and go into the ocean, it starts cooling down. So we'll see what happens. Right now the North Atlantic is up 0.5 C higher than normal. The Northern Hemisphere is up 0.4 C. The world is up 0.3 C, and North Pacific and Southern Hemisphere are both up 0.3 C. The Equatorial Pacific is down 0.1 C. And that's, you can see the Equatorial Pacific is right here where you see in the blue line, blue area. So that's colder than normal. Now we'll move on to NASA Worldview. Oh, let's zoom back out and I'll refresh to get all the latest data. Okay, we've got everything in, it looks like. This is the Arctic. Here's Greenland, Canada. This is Russia up here. Here's Novaya Zemlya. Here's Norway. Here's Alaska. Now we can see this black circle is getting smaller as the sun is coming up. It's still low on the horizon, but all of the area where it's not black is now in sunlight, so it's getting radiation. Now we can turn on this sea ice concentration layer. Let me refresh that. Well, there we go. And we can kind of get an idea of what's going on and kind of compare this with what we saw on the Navy website. And we can see it's melting here on this east side of Greenland. And it's still not very concentrated up here, just west of Svalbard. And we can see that here's Svalbard, it's all in sunlight now. And Franz Josef Land, it's all in sunlight. And here's Severnaya Zemlya, it's all in the sunlight now. And so here's these reddish areas, it's less concentrated, and if you could see this, these would actually be holes in the ice. And here it is around Novaya Zemlya. And it looks like it's regrowing here. It had opened up. I think it might still be open a little bit right up here, but looks like a little bit of regrowth going on there. And then down here on this west point of Greenland, this is the nearest strait that's opened up, and we saw this in nighttime view. Now here it is in sunlight, and I don't know if this opened up naturally or if this was from icebreakers. I kind of think that would be a large area for them to clear out with icebreakers, but it's refrozen inside here. It's thin, but it's refrozen a little bit, but we can see a lot of open water there. See, there are the ice pieces. And this area, this nearest strait, on the Navy website, it showed this in the purplish zone, so this ice is quite thin. We can't really see it. We've got, looks like, I don't know, just can't get a good view of that right now. Maybe a cloud, it's over it or something. Here's this east side of Greenland. You see here some open areas underneath the cloud. And here, see that. Now here's Svalbard. This has been ice-free all around here. These are clouds. Here's some ice. Now, here's Franz Josef Land, and look at all this open water. See, this is open, totally open right here. And this is what we were looking at in the nighttime view. It's open water, and then this little thin ice. Here's open. So that's pretty fragile around there. Here's some more really thin. So this will melt quickly. Now here's Severnizimlia. Here's Compsolomon's Island. Just this little foot is still in the dark. It'll probably be in the light by tomorrow. So this is the area where we're seeing those huge methane plumes come up on CAMS. It's this whole area. And you can see the crack. These are leads. These are the openings in the ice. And they refreeze, but the leads are quite thin in between these ice areas. And then they're the first things that'll melt. And any kind of ice drift or ocean movement will pull at these leads to open up, like we saw on the Navy website. See, there's the ice. That's what it looks like. So here's Novae Zemlya. Now this is ice. It looks like this is ice. I'm thinking these are clouds. I'm thinking that we can turn on the sea ice layer. No, that's ice. Okay. Well, there might be clouds over that. We can turn on the ice surface temperature layer. And this layer shows up where there are not clouds. So these are clouds. The long looks like, and then ice. And some of the data might not be in on this layer yet. That's what it looks like. It's hard to say. So let's turn that back off. So this is the Kermadec Sea, and see these areas where this is open water. See around there, the dark area. See here. And then here's the Laptev Sea, and this is the area where they did their research. This area right in here, from these New Siberian Islands over this whole area, and over here too. So it's pretty cloudy. We can't really get a good view of the ice right here, but you can see here this has been opened up. There's a cloud over it right now. This is the East Siberian Sea, and the East Siberian Arctic shelf is right underneath here. That's another area of high methane reserves in the permafrost, in the ocean floor, and the sediment. Now here's the Bering Strait. This is a good view. Here we are. There are no clouds here. See these leads, and see these long lines. That's what we saw on the Navy website, the lead opening. See all these cracks. See, here's where the ice is being pulled away from this Alaska coastline. See that? Now we're under clouds here, but you can see the cracks there through the clouds. These are leads. Here's a lead. Here's some more. And here's where it's pulled away from this Canadian island. See that underneath the clouds you can see this is opened up here. So it never really anchored in. I thought it was going to anchor in on these islands, but it never really did. Look at this opening. See? That's where it pulled away in the last couple of days. Now that's a good view there. See? And then here's the Canadian archipelago here. Here's the Baffin Bay, and so on. Here's Greenland. So there's that. Now, I'll show you what's happened in the Antarctic with this A74 iceberg off the Brunt ice sheet or ice shelf. It's right here. It's pulled away. Now there's a big cloud over it, but you can see this dark area. That's where the iceberg has separated from the main ice shelf. And if we turn on the nighttime layer and we go back, it's been pretty cloudy this week, but I found that the nighttime layer comes in pretty handy some days. Now this started on February 26th. Let's turn that off. So here's where, see the crack. That was the first day that you could see it pulling away. Here's the 27th, and see it's pulled away up here even. And see the big line down here? That's open water there. Here's the 28th. Now here's a cloud, but you can see see the opening there. Here's the 29th. Now see the cloud. Now here's where I like the nighttime layer. Oh, it didn't work. They didn't have it for that day. Now we can't see anything. It's all cloudy there. Let's turn on the nighttime layer. You can make out through the cloud here that see these pieces. It's breaking up, and it's totally separated from that main ice sheet. Here's the 3rd. See, this is a little more. See the pieces, and here's where it's pulled away. Here's the 4th. You can see it's breaking up even more. And the 5th, hard to see anything there. Here's the 6th, and see it's starting to, the pieces are spreading out. That's why it looks bigger. And here it is today, underneath the cloud, and the pieces are spreading out. So this is not anchored at all. I don't know how far it's going to move out before sun goes down there before the ice can refreeze and kind of hold that in. And it's really too cloudy to see. Oh, okay, some new data came in today. Here's the South Georgia island. Now here's the largest piece that's left of A68. It's still out here. Now it's under that big cloud. Here's another couple of pieces up here. Here's another one down here. But that's pretty well broken up. Just the largest piece still here, and it doesn't look to me like it's going to run into any islands. Now here's this western peninsula of the Antarctic, and it's cloud covered. And then here's Pine Island Glacier, and this is a really good view today. And see, this never really thawed out, this whole area that refroze over the winter time never thawed out. Now this is where it calved off last year, and everything had refrozen back up to there. But as we zoom in, I'm thinking this is the flow of the glacier. And you can kind of see some definition there. I was looking back through, and I thought I saw cracks on either side, but it hasn't. They're not well defined, not right at this point. Let's see. Hard to see in that nighttime layer. But that's what that looks like right now. Here's some refreeze coming in. See, all of this is refreeze. Here's the Thwaites Glacier, and it had broken off here. This big area never really moved out, so it's frozen back now. This is the bottom end of that ice tongue. It's still in the process of breaking up. It was massive, and now it's starting to refreeze all those pieces. Here's some refreeze. See that? That's the little lavender color that we saw on the Navy model. And refreeze here in the Ross Sea. All of this is ice. See, it's coming back here. This is a cloud, and it looks like that blue is the shadow of the cloud, and we can see through the cloud. It's pretty thin. Here's Ross Island. Here's Mount Erebus. This looks like it's a shadow from the volcano. Right up here is McMurdo Station. Right up there. Here's some refreeze, looks like. Here's the Totten Glacier, and it's cloud covered right now. Let's see. Here's yesterday. We can see the tongue still here. And we're getting some refreeze going on now. Refreeze here along this southeastern coastline. Oh, look, it's all cloud covered today. Here's this little bit of refreeze. Now here's the Anomaly ice sheet, and I'm going to show you something. Now here's yesterday. This is a cloud. Now remember, there was a bunch of ice that was kind of anchored in here. Well, that is gone. It's moved out. It's out here. And this is open now. It's hard to see. Okay, now here it was on the 4th. Here was this piece moving out. See? It's separated from this ice here. But this had hung around all summer long, this big piece, and now it's pulled out and moving out. Here it is today. Hard to see with the clouds there. Now here's the back end. And you can see the ice flow here. See the lines. Here's the north side. Now it was right up here where we saw the greenish color of methane for 500 HPA. So we saw that. And also on total column, I think there's a little bit higher reading down here. But we're starting to see a refreeze. See this? There's some refreeze coming in. And there's that. That's it. Now, we'll look at earthquakes next. Hang on, I thought I had them opened. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It has been such an active week. It's been unbelievable. After I did that show on Wednesday, then everything started rocking down here. New Zealand and Kermadec Islands. 8.1 came in at the Kermadec Islands, and some 7s and 6s, and it's still rocking. So I took these pictures this afternoon. There were 251 worldwide for all magnitude. We can see Iceland is still rocking too. Here in the lower 48, we've got 139, and we've had movement on this Wanda Fuca plate as well. Southern California is only showing 18. Now what you'll see, and since there have been so many earthquakes down in the South Pacific, it's the pressure is not as much. It's released the pressure from areas that usually have higher numbers of earthquakes. Like normally we see, I don't know, 30 to 50 down here in Southern California, but only 18 today. Searles Valley Ridgecrest area has 22 today, and the largest one is this blue one, a 2.3 at Searles Valley. Here from western Nevada, from the Tonopah region, or MENA, over to Mammoth Lakes, and we can see the movements kind of spreading out. We've got 28. Now we went one day where there was nothing here, and then they're starting to pick back up. The largest one is this blue one, 2.4 at Tom's Place, California. This is in the Reno area. 2.0 happened in Spanish Springs, Nevada, and this is almost out to Pyramid Lake. It's on the way. It's in the mountains there. This is the geysers area of California. There were 32 here today. This is Northern California, and here's that one that I showed you by Reno. So we've got 7 in this picture, but 6 of these were California, including 2 right here. One on the bottom of this Juan de Fuca plate, that was a 2.8. And this was at a negative 0.3 kilometer depth up, and it's in the ocean, and how that can happen, I don't know, but it did. And then we've got a 2.2 on the San Andreas fault line, just straight across, just on that fulcrum point there. And we had a 1.8 at Round Mountain. What else have we got? 3.0 Willits, 1.4 Almanor, and 2.8 Almanor. Now these are at Lake Almanor, which is, it's a dam. It's a dam in reservoir. So here's a close-up of these on the Juan de Fuca plate. Here, see, I highlighted that 2.8 right there at a negative 0.3 kilometer depth. So it's up in the chamber of the mountainous area under the water. Then a 2.2 here just off the coast of Petrolia, California. This is the Pacific Northwest over to Yellowstone. We've got 15 here today. So we've got a lot of movement up here in Washington and all the way up to Vancouver, and then mainly here in Stanley, Idaho. And Oklahoma is showing 8 today. The largest one was a 2.8 at Manchester, Oklahoma. Here's Iceland. There were 3 here today. 5.2. 4 here. Sorry, there were 4 here. 5.2 was the biggest one. Then a 4.0, 4.5, and 4.4. It's on the south tip, right on the red line. Puerto Rico is showing 8 today. Mexico is showing a 4.1 and a 4.7. Here in South America, we've got 3, 4.5, 4.8, and 4.0 from Peru down to Argentina. Hawaii is showing 14 today, and if you look closely, these here at Mauna Loa are at a negative depth. This is at a minus 2.3 kilometers deep, 2.5 magnitude. So that's showing that the earthquake is up in the chamber of that volcano, but the majority of them are swarming down here at Pahala. Alaska's showing 33 today. Now that's lower than normal. Normally we see 50. But I mean, in the last few months it's been about 40 to 50 and not much higher than that. Occasionally used to average was between 50 and 100, but it's gone way down. Now here's the South Pacific. We've got 36 here on this picture. and we'll zoom in. Down here off this northeast coast of New Zealand, we've got 11 today. The largest one was a 5.6, and the reporting station is Gisborne, but these are all in the ocean, so no danger to anyone. This is the Kermadec Islands region. There are 22 here today. So this number is going down. These have all been in the 5s and 4s range today. And a couple of days ago when this was rocking, they had 60, 70 in one day. Lots and lots of aftershocks, and these are still aftershocks, and it's slowing down. I'm sure there were thousands if you count the ones that were smaller, but USGS only shows the larger ones. This is in the Tonga and Fiji region. We've got a 4.4 at Levuka, Fiji, 524 kilometers deep, and a 4.6 at Havululoto, Tonga, that was 467 kilometers deep. So that's also showing that we'll have plate movement around the planet from those deep ones. We've got 3 here in Indonesia and Philippines, 5.2, 4.7, and 4.7. This is in the Mariana Islands region. In the West Pacific, we've got 4, 4.7, 5.0, 5.0, and 4.9. This is Japan, off the coast of the mainland of Japan and up by Hokkaido. We've got 3, 4.2, 4.2, and 4.5. We've got 2 in the Tajikistan region, 4.3 and 4.0. And then 1 in Africa at 4.4 in Laborane, Gabon. That came in yesterday. And that's it. Now if we look at the earthquake website, we've got 251 right now. So that means they've still been coming in to replace the ones that have come off of the map. And see, now I want to show, this will blow your mind, 7 days, all magnitudes. This will blow your mind. All magnitudes for the last 7 days has been 2,142 earthquakes, and here's that one up in the Arctic, that one I reported on, at 5.0. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? I mean, this is just incredible. Just been rocking away. Let's look at Iceland. How many have we had at Iceland? 8 this last week. So, starting on March the 1st, there have been 8 there. And there have been lots and lots of smaller ones, but from 4.0 was the lowest one reported. Then let's look down here at New Zealand. Here's off of Gisborne, 54 total in the last 7 days. Look at that. 6.3 and 7.3. It started out with this 7.3 on March the 4th. then it all just dominoed. Then up here in the Kermadec Islands region, we'll get those two. How many? 131. These are just the larger ones. These are just, look, another one just came in. 4.9 just came in. 132. See, these are 4s, 5s. Here's 7.4. Kermadec. Yeah. Where's the 8.1? I slid right past it. Here's the 8.1. See, there was a 7.4 in this area first, and then the 8.1. It was an 8.0 that got upgraded to an 8.1, and then it just kept on since then. See, mainly 5s. Here's a 6.1 on the 4th. Then here's a 6.3 on the 4th. So these were all huge aftershocks. And this is not a populated area, so just lucky that it happened in the ocean where it did. It's alright on the red line, that tectonic plate line. 6.2 there on the 5th. These are 5s. Here's a 6.1. Here's 6.2. Here's 6.1. That's on the 6th. And they've been 5s, 4s and 5s today. $132. Look at that. Isn't that something? Yeah, I like to show this every now and then. It just blows my mind. So we'll go back to one day all magnitudes there. 251 now. So that's the report for today. And I'm going to finish the show with continuing to read out of the book of Luke. This is the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were considered the Gospels in the New Testament, and they were considered to be Jesus' life, the account of Jesus' life. And the words in the red are words that Jesus spoke. Luke chapter 21. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in to their 2 mites. And he said, Of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. For all these have of their abundance cast in unto the offerings of God, but she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had. And as some spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, As for these things which ye behold, the days will come, in the which there shall not be left one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. For these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. But before all these they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinsfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not an hair on your head perish. In your patience possess ye your soul. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. And he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree, and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting, and drunkenness, and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, And at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple for to hear him. Luke chapter 21. So he laid it all out there, the end times and what to expect. And this is equivalent to Matthew chapter 24. And it's just worded a little differently, but the message is all the same. So these are we're in the end times, and I do believe his return is soon. I don't know when, but we need to be watchful, and we need to be sober, have a sober mind. And if you've not gotten your spiritual house in order, I mean, that's like top priority. And if you've been on the fence and, wavering about whether or not to give your life to Jesus, now's the time. There's no time to waste. And we're just seeing it all go faster and faster and faster now. So I will go ahead and leave you for tonight. I hope you have a good week. I'll be praying for all of you. I love you. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.